Hey guys, Dino here. In this video, we will be looking at what I think IllFonic should add to Predator Hunting Grounds, and a few changes to make the game even better. If that sounds good to you, let's get into it. Modes. One of the biggest drawbacks from Predator Hunting Grounds is the lack of different game modes. As it currently stands, the game has only two modes, Hunt and Clash. In Hunt, you track down the fire team as the Predator, and in Clash, two fire teams fight each other. This sadly makes the game quite bare bones with content for most players, and even myself sometimes. Unless you're a hardcore Predator fan, most people will lose interest fairly quickly. Personally, I find the Hunt games way too fast. As the fire team, sometimes I finish the objective completely in less than 8 minutes, and I haven't even seen the Predator more than once. As the Predator, on the other hand, you feel rushed to kill the fire team, which leaves no room for stalking and planning, which makes each interaction turn into a guns blazing mayhem fight instead of a hunt, removing the feeling of being a hunter like in the movies. Unfortunately, most players these days want to have fast matches so they can get in and out quickly to join the next match, so this may depend on the player. In addition, if the game had more modes, it would make the gameplay so much more interesting and fun. For example, the rumored campaign mode, the gauntlet mode, which is a fan favorite, and many others. New maps. Predator Hunting Grounds has a handful of maps in the game, excluding the night variants. But even then, there aren't that many. The main problem is most of them feel the same due to all of them basically being jungles. The only difference are the main points of focus, like the train yard, the runway, and the headquarters, which are all pretty cool in their own way. A few cool maps I'd like to see added to the game are the Game Preserve Planet, the city of Los Angeles, and some locations from the comic books, like the exiled Predator Island. Some of these would still have jungle-like areas, which totally fine, since it's a big part of the mechanics of the game. But giving us some different locations that really feel different to the other maps, forcing you to change your playstyle and strategy would be really cool. And these would maybe even adding different special objectives, specific to those maps. Weapon upgrades. This isn't as much of an addition to the game, but more something I want to see IllFonic change personally. One of the key customization options for the fire team are the weapon modifications. The modifications consist of silencers, mags, and sights. This is cool and all, but what really makes this pointless in my opinion is that every upgrade is literally an upgrade. Each piece is unlocked the more you play and level up your weapon, but each option only buffs your weapons, other than the silencer, which exchanges a bit of damage to make less sounds. But this means there are no reason to not just grab the highest level upgrade for each piece. There isn't much more thought put into it, sadly. It does make it very simple and easy for the people who don't really care, but I think it would be way cooler for each upgrade to not be a simple level up, but have different stats. For example, one mag could simply have better ammo capacity, while another could have faster reload time. Take For Honor's armor system, for example. The little things like this could allow you to build different weapons while essentially using the same weapon. It would make the whole upgrade system much cooler and more in-depth in my opinion, which would make the fire team so much more fun to play and customize. DLCs. This one is kind of basic, and IllFonic is already doing a great job at it, but it truly is one of the simple things that will make this game so much better for all of us fans of the Predator franchise. I would love to see more movie characters like Nolan from Predators, who could bring so much to the table, like a new gun and maybe even a cloaking mechanic. And of course, more famous Predators from the movies and comics, like the really wanted Wolf Predator, who could bring new weapons to the game, like double plasma casters, the fist gauntlet, and the infamous whip. There are so many DLC characters and Predators they could add to the game, it's kind of insane. New weapons. The game has quite a lot of weapons for both Predator and Fire Team, but of course, the more the better. Even with the amount of weapons in the game, I find myself running out of different combinations to play, more specifically as the Predator. But even as the Fire Team, I find that there isn't much difference between most of the guns. Most of the SMGs feel kind of the same, and some of them are just flat out better than others. If, like the upgrades, they could make each weapon have different stats that actually mattered, it would make the fire team so much more fun to play, and there would be reasons to playing each weapon instead of just taking the one that deals the most damage. Therefore, I'd like to see them change it up a bit. For example, they could add Hanzo's Katana, allowing you to get up close and personal with the Predator. For the Predator, there are many different weapons used across the movies and comics that they could add to the game. New gear. Just like the last section, I'd like to see the game add more gear options to both the Predator and the Fire Team. I find that most used gear options for the fire team always end up being this rest, with good reason. But there are a few cool gear items like the elf grenades and the thermal decoys that are really cool to use. If they added more of those to the game, again, it would make making your loadout so much more fun and important. But sadly, as the Predator, I find that other than the medic kit, the motion detectors, and the bear traps, the other gear options are kind of lackluster. I've never had a moment where I was glad I brought the audio decoys because it saved my life or got me a kill. Most of the time, I even forget I have them in the first place. But if they added more gear options that had their own mechanics like the Falconer drone or the net traps, it would really sweeten the Predator gameplay, allowing the player to really immerse himself into a specific playstyle and strategy. Before we continue, I just want to say that if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and consider subscribing. I'm planning on coming up with more of these types of videos, like what Predator DLCs we need, and map and game modes that could be added. Cosmetics. The game allows you to customize your character in different ways, like the skin pattern and color, to the skulls and scarring. Something that would really make each character a lot cooler would be to add more options. Some examples could be to choose where your trophies/skulls go on your Predator. Like maybe you could have your wolf skull on your shoulder instead of your hip, or have your skulls on your back like the City Hunter Predator did in the second movie. For the fire team, I mostly just want to see more face and body options, since there are very few. And also, please add a way to look at our character full body, like in Honor. For Pete's sakes, I don't know how many times this has drove me nuts to not be able to check out my Predator in its full glory. Lobbies and groups. If some of you don't already know, Predator Hunting Grounds has crossplay, allowing console and PC players to play in the same matches. Unfortunately, trying to play with a friend who is on console and you on PC is a nightmare to try and make work. So please fix that so we can finally play with our console friends. But on the subject of grouping in Predator Hunting Grounds, one of my most hated gripes against the game is that I can't play Predator with my friends. The only way to play with friends is by playing Fire Team, and that really sucks. I understand that people control others and that you could XP farm, but please, just find a way to make it happen, IllFonic. It's like if you can only play half the game with friends and the other half by yourself. The only way to play Predator with friends is by making a custom lobby, but you need 5 people for that. Or at least 5 to make it balanced. Lastly, I would like IllFonic to add something for us to do while waiting in the lobby. It would make the wait feel a little less long while looking for the last player to join the match. Xenomorphs. Predator Hunting Grounds is a strictly Predator game, and to be honest, I'm not complaining. But if IllFonic added aliens to the game in some way, it would not only attract a new whole fan base to the game, but make the game even more freaking awesome. Could be an event, Easter eggs, cosmetic items, or something that could be in the very much wanted single player mode. But sadly, as much as we want to see this happen, I'm not sure if we'll ever see it. Crates. Predator Hunting Grounds has a crate system, which thankfully you can't buy with real money, making the game not pay to win. But honestly, the crates are pretty boring. It takes forever to get an item that gets you excited, or even a gold item. And honestly, most of the time you get duplicates in basic colors for weapons that don't really matter. If they can make it so the crates had some upgrades or have less duplicates, it would make them so much more interesting and worth buying. Invisible HUD. This is kind of just a YouTuber thing, I guess, but it would be awesome if IllFonic added a way to hide your HUD, allowing you to take screenshots of your Predator, and the different maps allowing for cool thumbnails. And there you guys have it. Those are the things that I'd like to see IllFonic add to the game, and I really think that it would make the game a lot better. And you can see this across all different videos on YouTube. I'm not the first person to come up with these. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like and consider subscribing. In addition, comment down below what things you guys want to see added to the game. This is a really cool community, and the more we talk about it, maybe the more chances we get of having it. Who knows? That's going to be it for today's video, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one.